afternoon, guys. Come on in, take a seat. If you're in the back there, hang out. Take your jacket off. It's unseasonably humid here, yeah? You agree? I feel like I'm in Louisiana or Houston. They're probably pretty humid right now. Welcome to Fixing Profits and Loyalty in Retail. This is a program that I started out, it's probably been a couple of years in the making, really. And it's something that I've chosen to focus on with VoiceComm. And you're probably asking, who is VoiceComm and why do they have a Beyond Repair program? Well, I'll tell you a little bit about that, but first I want to introduce you to the team here. So there's myself. I'm the Director of Sales for Repair and Specialty Retail. Nicole Lewis is not here today, but she is our Sales Support Specialist. So if any of you work with us in the repair channel, chances are you work with Nicole. And then Jason's right up front here as well. He's another member of our team. And together we manage and work with all repair stores in the network. We have a really good team put together here, and we share information back and forth, which hopefully will make us experts when it comes to accessories. So real quick, first, about VoiceComm, our core strength. We have an unwavering commitment to customers. We all say that we're the best at customer service. We really try to be. I think when you do business the right way, and you have integrity, and you respect the people you're doing business with, it's a good partnership. And that's what we really try to do and focus on. And so we make sure that everything that we do is driven by that to help you guys be successful in your retail endeavors. So why VoiceComm? Why am I the right person to talk to you about fixing profits and loyalty and repair? Well, first of all, we're a national distributor in the U.S. We service over 3,000 repair centers alone. And by national distributor, I mean we carry some of the top 50 brands in the wireless repair space or in mobile accessory space. And with the 3,000 doors that we service, that grows every day, obviously, but we also manage some of the biggest repair franchises out there as well, if you happen to know who those people might be. I'll leave them nameless for now. But we have a very big customer base, so we have a great knowledge base on what's working well in this space, and we've really kind of taken ownership of it. So kind of like you heard Gadget Guard, if you were in here earlier talking, there's a lot of quick followers in this space. There's a lot of imitators in this space that are trying to do what we're doing, and we're just trying to stay one step ahead and making sure that we service our customers the way they need to be serviced. So I talked a little bit about our high-profile product portfolio. A multi-level support system. We have everything in-house. So we do all of our own marketing. If you need marketing materials for your stores or merchandising, if you need sales consultant help, if you need drop ship opportunities for multiple locations, I mean, you name it, we've got the people in-house that can do it. And then the last piece there is we inspire through customization. And that's really what this whole program is going to be about, that I'll tell you about on how to fix profits and loyalty and repair. So partnering with VoiceComm, why you should do it, and again, I'm going to try to give you a lot of good information today that's it's about profit and loyalty when it comes to a retail space, but it's also a little bit of a commercial for VoiceComm, so you'll have to live through that for now. But partnering with VoiceComm as your preferred distributor will empower you to maximize accessory-related opportunities. There's so much money to be had in this space. And really, as we move forward and mature in a space, kind of like, if any of you were here earlier for the panel discussion, they talked a lot about maturity and how you're starting to see consolidation. You're starting to see the guys that are independent dealers kind of staying where they're at, and the big ones are getting bigger. So there's a lot of things happening in retail that I want you to be aware of, and we're going to try to help you maximize that business. The second piece there is kind of our team motto. In repair, accessories should be the second largest source of revenue in your space, hands down. And they may even one day become your biggest source of revenue outside of repairs, including repairs. So it's something to think about when you have retail space, and we'll show you how you can do that. So that being said, I think all of you have seen this before, but I love playing it, so here we go.
Show you the money.
Oh, no, you can do better than that, Jerry. I want you to say it what you would mean it, brother. Hey, I got Bob Sugar on the other line. I better hear you say it.
Yeah, no. Show you the money.
That not show you. Show me the money.
Show me the money.
Yeah. Louder.
Show me the money!
That's it, brother, but you got to yell that shit.
Show me the money!
I need to feel you, Jerry.
Show me the money!
Jerry, you better yell. Show me the money! Show me the money! He's the loudest black man.
Revenge is on my legs with a tail between her knees.
What you gonna do, Jerry? Show me the money!
Congratulations, you're still my agent.
Show me the money. I'm going to help you guys see the money. And show me the money is right here. It's what I'm going to do. So I think I'm a visual person. I learn visually. I learn hands-on. And there's something to be said about the profit potential that's out there in accessories. I'm sure if you guys own stores or you work in a store, you know what that looks like. But we wanted to point it out to you here just so it kind of hits you in the face. You realize what kind of money's out there to be had in accessories. For some reason, it can really make or break your year off of plastic and silicone. Not many industries can do that. So we'll talk a little bit about this. But based on repairs, our top graphic there is based on 100 repairs a month. That seems to be, right now at least, kind of on the low end. It sounds like most stores today are doing well over 100 repairs a month in a location, and we're seeing that number trend up to 250, even 300, 400 we heard a couple of weeks ago. So depending on where you're at in that space, you can see exactly how much money you can expect to make from accessories. These numbers are based on a $25 profit, whether you're talking about a case, tempered glass, or power. Generalized numbers, obviously, but most brands that we offer at VoiceComm, the nationally recognized brands, they're going to get you in that same range. Tempered glass really is going to be in that $30, $40, $50 range. Some cases might be less. They might be $15, $20, $25. And then chargers, they can be all over the board, depending on what you want to offer. So as a good average, $75 can be made on every repair that comes through your door. One thing that I'll say about that is I'm not crazy optimistic to think that you can sell 3 accessories to every repair customer. That would be, I mean, if you could, that'd be amazing. But that doesn't always happen. So this would be best case scenario. But we're talking about $100,000 a year plus. And if you run the numbers for your store, I think one of the most important things to take away with this is that you could hire another employee. You could hire another repair tech. You could hire that front of office person that's going to be your sales rep. Most repair stores don't have the money or the manpower to have somebody focused on customer interaction or the customer experience at the front of the house. Most of them just have techs that work in the back. So I think you can kind of parlay that investment into a new salesperson that can just maintain your front of house and really increase your sales. So how do you do that? You need to build value in your repair center. One of the things that I like to focus on is if you have a repair space, a retail space, a store, whether it's in a strip mall, if it's freestanding, or a kiosk in the mall, you have space. And space is important for many, many reasons. But the most important reason is it's a legitimate place for a customer to come to do business. And so build value in that repair center. And we'll show you how to do that. Profit, make sure that you are measuring profit. So many people don't know how to properly measure it. They spend a lot of time looking at margin percentage points. They spend a lot of time looking at bottom lines, which is all important, but it's not necessarily what's going to help you grow if you get caught up in those little numbers. We can help you provide the retail tools to help stimulate your accessory sales. That's part of strategy. And I've got a couple of slides later on that we'll talk about strategy, but really it comes down to making your store look like a retail store. Again, back to that space that you have available. Let's use it. Let's maximize that space that we have and not have bare walls. Your customers are very candid. They're stuck in your store for 20 minutes to an hour. If they leave and come back, that's fine as well, but make sure you capture those sales when they're there. And last but not least, we want to create experts. I think anybody in here will agree that nobody can fix a phone unless they've been trained first, right? I wouldn't have a clue how to fix a phone right now. Not a clue. Plus, my fingers are too big for those little screws. Anybody else have that problem? I do. But I could not fix a phone right now if you wanted me to. So we need to create experts. The same applies to accessory sales. There are, I mean, if you go downstairs here, there's 50 companies that have cases. And they'll tell you exactly why their case is better than the next. We can't expect your techs, let alone sales reps, if you have them in a store, to know the difference between all the cases and categories out there. So let's make them into experts. The first way to create sales opportunities in a retail space is to qualify your customers. I hope I'm not telling you anything new here by asking the question, what happened? I hope that's the first thing out of your mouth, but a lot of times techs don't want to say it. They're not extroverts. They don't want to talk to people a lot of times. So I would almost make that a mandate. Something to think about. Anybody familiar with Chick-fil-A? Yeah, pretty awesome, right? When's the last time, who'd been to Chick-fil-A? Man, I saw your head go, yeah. Yeah, you. All right, deal. This morning for breakfast, chicken and biscuit, right? What is one thing that's in common about every single Chick-fil-A? Anybody else recognize that or remember that? If you go to any Chick-fil-A in the United States, you will never hear "you're welcome." You will always hear "my pleasure." From any employee. If you ask them for anything, it's always "my pleasure." Never "you're welcome." How do you think a franchise group like Chick-fil-A can get 1,700 locations to all say the exact same thing? It's culture. It's ingrained in them. If you're an employee at Chick-fil-A, you get Sundays off, but all I ask is that you say "my pleasure." I don't know what that hook is like for you in your stores, but make it "what happened." That's it. Make it "what happened." If you ask that simple question, "what happened?" you can open up a laundry list of not only services that you guys can provide, but also accessories. Very, very important question. Let's talk about marketing a little bit, generating foot traffic. So we have the retail space. I have the techs. They know how to fix the phones. But I'm just not seeing sales. My walls are kind of empty. My techs aren't selling accessories. We don't do a good job at that. So how can you help your techs, again, not salespeople, but how can you help your techs make those sales? A lot of times in repair, we have an unassisted sales environment. So let's generate foot traffic. Referral programs work great. Referral programs are awesome. They can be friends and family coupon codes, like we have that one up there in the middle, friends and family discount. You can make little business cards to hand out with every repair that your next repair is a percentage off. Whatever you want to do, I think a referral program is a great way to make extra business. Community advertising. I'm not talking about Yelp or Google AdWords or anything like that because I'm not the expert on those. I'm thinking really base, I guess I'll say, well, I think a lot about food. So I'm thinking about the pizza box that I see the little, ads on. If you share, if there's a pizza place in your strip mall, call them up, see if you can put an ad on the pizza box. You never know who's ordering pizza. It might be the owner of a Fortune 500 company in your neighborhood who needs their phones fixed, or they need a partner in that space. So something simple like that. We talked a little bit about friends and family discount. My favorite one, especially now that we've had so many natural disasters this year with hurricanes, is a civil service discount. This is a big deal to me. I've got a lot of family that's in the civil services, I guess, police, fire, EMS, military. This does two things. One is it creates a lot of goodwill within your community, right? If you offer a discount or some kind of service, free tempered glass, whatever it is, if you offer something to those first responders, it's going to create a lot of goodwill in your community. It's very important. The other thing that I will tell you about the civil services, EMS, police, fire, even military, is that they talk a lot. They are very good at gossip. They're very good at recommending guns, clothes, toys, cell phone cases, whatever. They're really good at that. They're a really tight community. So think about offering something like that. The last one that I put up here is retail holidays. Yeah, we can talk about Mother's Day, Father's Day, Christmas. Those are really hard because you're competing with Best Buy, or you're competing with Amazon, or you're competing with Sears. I think they're still around. Nobody competes with Kmart, though, right? That was a bad jab. I hope nobody in here from Kmart. But retail holidays are not necessarily the same in the wireless repair space, right? They're just not. We can't compete with the Best Buy. I had this great idea to create a retail holiday for phone repair. I haven't done it yet, but I might work with Michelle James, Jeremy Willis here, and see if we can put together like National Repair Day or something and send it out to everybody here. But you can create your own holiday within your town if you wanted to fix all the phones in the neighborhood. Excuse me. Setting goals. You guys saw this chart earlier. I think what's really important with this chart, again, if you kind of take it into your own perspective, this is about setting a goal. Again, back to the title of this, fixing profit. I think a lot of times when you don't measure your profit or you don't set a goal, you have no idea where you're going with it. So again, figure out what that attachment is. How many accessories do you sell per repair? We got a half, 1, 2, 3. I think everybody's goal, and this is a reasonable goal, but I think your goal should be at least 2 with every repair. You should be able to get some sort of screen protection and some sort of case, because if their phone's broken, they didn't have the right thing. They didn't have the right screen protector or the right case. So that should be an automatic. Again, I know it's not possible on every single customer. Main reason being that they're pissed off to be in your store in the first place, right? Nobody breaks their phone like on purpose. So something to think about. The other thing is, you want to make sure that your employees, whether they're techs or dedicated sales rep, you want to make sure they have skin in the game. Incentivize staff. I think this is a piece that really gets lost in this young industry, in this young market of repair retail space. A lot of folks in this space, and I'm sure a lot of you in here, are entrepreneurs. You started your own business. The barrier to entry for a repair store was relatively low, and it was something that you could really get out on your own and start your own business. So you may not have all the same ideas that go into incentivizing sales staff or creating, generating foot traffic, like I talked about earlier, that you would have if you worked for a larger Fortune 500 company. And so incentivizing sales staff, I think, goes a long way. And I'll tell you kind of how I put this chart together. So 2 of the ways that I've found, I'll really tell you, the one way that I've found works best in the repair space, again, we're talking about techs, maybe a sales rep if you have it, but this dollar method right here typically works the best. You want to make it a simple program to incentivize your sales team. It's really difficult for people to calculate on a basis of what percentage of gross profit minus taxes, insurance, Medicare. I mean, you name it. It's really hard for you to calculate that. I don't even know how I get paid, to be honest with you guys. There's a lot of calculations that go into it, to a commission program that you don't want to mess with. So I think this dollar method right here really works best in a retail setting. Now, I've given you some examples up here. Tempered glass screen protection. Maybe you make that a commission, a straight $1 or $2. I said $1 or $2 because we've got our friend's Gadget Guard who just presented before me in here. But you might do $1 on a bulk tempered glass or tempered glass that you have in store. You might offer your reps $2 if they sell an insured tempered glass, like Black Ice Plus. On cases, you might offer them a $3 commission. On power, $4. Specialty, $5. I said specialty to include like audio, cameras, moto mod attachments. If you get into some of that weird stuff, you can make that commission a little bit higher. Now, this may look backwards to you, and it really is if you think about it from a margin point perspective. I talked about margin points when I first opened this conversation up, but it's something that I want us to clarify right now. If you are stuck on margin points and seeing how much, can I get 60, 70, 80% margin on something, you're looking at the wrong numbers. I can't go to the power company and pay my bill with margin points. I can't buy toilet paper for my store in margin points. Margin points don't pay for things. They're a good barometer of seeing what your profitability is on a level perspective, but the real number that matters is profit dollars, right? So when you look at tempered glass and screen protection, I feel like that should be an automatic sale on every repair. Hopefully for most of you guys it is. Again, whether it's a bulk product or if it's a branded Gadget Guard insured product, it should be on every single phone you repair. The reason why I assigned that, even though this item right here, you probably get these if they're bulk $5 or less, if they're packaged $10 or less, and you sell it for $40 to $50, maybe a little bit less if it's bulk glass. But chances are your margins on that are $30, $40. So why am I only offering a $1 commission on that? Because it's automatic. Maybe you don't have to try. You don't even have to ask, really. You can install it on the phone for them and charge them an extra $20. That's bad. Don't do that. You got to ask. But that's why you do $1 there, because it's an automatic sale. We want to incentivize good behaviors. We want to incentivize that question that says, what happened? How can I offer you a solution? A case at $3? Same thing. That's a little bit harder of a sale. Somebody might have a case already, or a lot of people have multiple cases at home. So even if their phone broke because it was in that thin case, or it got water damage because they didn't have their life proof on, whatever that goal may be, it's a little bit harder to sell a case in this space, especially when you're talking about an additional $30 on top of their repair, or 40 or 50 or 100 as you go up. Same thing with power. Power is a really hard category to sell right now, primarily because so many people have so many cables, right? Does anybody in here only have one lightning cable for their phone? I've got like one in my pocket. I don't even have an iPhone. That's just how many cables are out there now. Same with micro USB. We are seeing a lot of sales pick up in the USB-C space, but in general, power is a difficult sale. The one thing that I can tell you about power is that you can never have enough. You can never have enough power products. But that one's definitely not an automatic sale, so I would incentivize higher on a power product. And then specialty, again, I think that's where you get your highest incentive at. You don't expect your sales reps to sell a JBL speaker every day, but if they do, let's reward them for it, because at the end of the day, it creates great profits for you. Merchandising. This is really, really important. There are many, many ways to merchandise a store. There's a guy by the name here, Tate. I don't see him in here. Tate, are you in here? From Catalyst. If you guys get a chance to run into Tate from the Catalyst group, please do. He's kind of the genius when it comes to creating merchandising and building out stores. But merchandising really comes down to how your customers can self-shop, and they can find the products that they're looking for and the brands that you're trying to point out to them. It increases the amount of customers who notice and enter your store. There's a lot of different ways to do this, and one of those is planogramming. This is a really fancy term for big box stores and how they put their merchandise on the shelves. Even when you look at a store like a grocery store, for example, you'll notice that the store branded product is going to be on the lower shelves. Your Kraft macaroni and cheese is right here at eye level, just saying, eat me, you know? Same can go in the wireless repair space. You want to put your important brands, the brands that are most eye-catching, the brands that people recognize the most at that eye level. They're going to bring folks into your store. Put your lesser-known brands or cheaper products or products that don't sell as well kind of down a little bit lower. There's two different ways that you can merchandise or planogram. One is by brand blocking. I think this one's the most popular. Anybody been to a Best Buy lately? They are like, their entire store is a brand block. Now, they do it a lot of different ways, but if you go in there, you're going to see a Samsung store, a Google store, a Dyson vacuum store, you name it. There's a lot of different stores in a Best Buy store, but they own that space. That's their retail space to own. So that's really the most popular. The good news about brand blocking is that people recognize that. Especially if you have nationally recognized brands, they're going to draw people in. It's really easy to see where a product is or recognize Incipio or LifeProof or Belkin, any of those top brands. When you go into device blocking, this looks a little less neat, a little less clean, but it's super convenient for your customers. So depending on your store, if a clean look is really what you're going for, do brand blocking. If you really have an unassisted sales environment and your store is, I don't want to say not clean, that's the wrong word, but if you just find that it's a little bit easier for customers to shop by device, that's a great way to do it too. It's a good way for a customer in an unassisted environment to show up and see what products they have. Oh, look at that. I duplicated slides, sorry. When it comes to merchandising, how many of you guys in here have slat walls? Yeah? They're pretty popular. Floor displays. Any freestanding floor displays? Yeah? Some of those? Countertops and digital advertising. All of these products, I know digital is kind of getting to a point where we're seeing a lot more of that in retail. Hopefully, if you don't have a screen, it's a really cheap way to offer some advertisements and specials to folks that are coming into your store. But all this information right here on merchandising is really another way to drive interest towards that brand block when we're talking about that planogram. At VoiceComm, we offer all of this content based on your store, depending on what you're looking for. A lot of our brand partners offer floor displays or countertop displays there on the bottom. They're free of charge. You really just have to meet the minimum requirement to fill them, is what it comes down to. They will give you a free display as long as you order the minimum amount to fill that display. Digital advertising, same thing. All of our partners have given us either videos or they might be still images, but we can provide all that for you, and that's part of our marketing team's concept to make sure that you're successful. And the last one, slat wall displays. Again, from a VoiceComm perspective, it's something that we can create based on your space. You can't just call me up and say, hey, Aaron, can I get a 4x8 poster? It's not like that. we don't keep a stockpile of those, but you can certainly ask us for whatever you need. Our brand family. I'm going to talk a little bit about this, and I think it's really important when it comes to repair. It's something that I'm passionate about, especially when we see so many new products coming into the mix. And I don't know about you, but Amazon's kind of a pretty big elephant in the room when it comes to accessories, or anything, I guess. You can buy anything you want on Amazon. So our brand family here, this isn't even all of them, but this is a good list. One thing that, again, sets VoiceComm apart from the rest of the distributors in the space is our commitment and our partnership with these brands. Hopefully, most of you recognize most of the brands up there. There might be a couple that you haven't seen before, but in general, these are the top-selling brands in the wireless space, in the electronic space, you name it. There's a good reason why that's what we offer, and we don't offer other brands that you may see on Amazon. We don't want to compete with that. We don't want somebody to come in and buy a $7 case. We want to sell them on the value of getting their phone repaired with quality parts and sell them a quality accessory with a quality warranty behind it. You want to create that experience and have that integrity to keep that customer for life. Jeremy Willis earlier mentioned that we want to make customers for life in this space because we don't know what this space is going to look like a year from now. We don't. So keep that in mind. From the VoiceComm side of things, this is just a screenshot of our website, but we try to make it super easy for our customers and our partners to shop. This is kind of getting into the infomercial side again, but we make it as easy as possible. You can go into our website and up there in the top right-hand corner, register for an account if you don't have one already. Really easy, simple way to do that. And then everything in our website is very clean. You can shop by product, in other words, case, power, glass, speakers, by device, by carrier, by brand, and then advanced is where you get really creative with, I'm looking for a pink case with black dots, and you can get pretty creative in the advanced space. But we try to make it really simple. We know that accessories can be a burden on your time. They really can be, and especially if you're focused on doing repairs and increasing the amount of repairs or shortening that length of time that a repair takes, you don't have time to necessarily order accessories or go shopping as much as some of you may like to shop. So we try to make it as easy as possible to save you time. Earlier I mentioned that we service over 3,000 repair stores. That's not a joke. And I really truly believe that data and facts, or I guess data tells the truth. Data paints a really good picture of what the rest of the industry is selling, what's selling well. And so we use that information, we share that with all of our customers. We share with you the top 100 products in repair. We'll share with you the top 100 products in your franchise group. Whatever that number is or whatever products you want to see, we share that with you because I don't want you carrying something you're not going to sell. Right? That's not a good partnership. I don't sell anything, you don't sell anything. What are we doing together? Not having fun, not making any money. So as a partner, we want to make sure that we're giving you guys the right stuff. Again, when you go back to this list here, there's a lot of brands on here. And if you get really excited and start shopping, you may end up with a full cart of stuff that you think's cool, but that doesn't necessarily apply to the customer base. So keep that in mind. I think, again, when we're talking about entrepreneurs and people that are owner-operators, especially in repair, you want to make sure that you don't get your personal feelings in the way of business feelings. Black always sells best. As much as you like that glitter case, that black one's going to sell 5 times what that glitter case will sell. So keep that in mind. We have a newer program, at VoiceComm. That just shot my face. We have a newer program at VoiceComm that we've created. We started earlier this year. Again, I introduced you to the team earlier, but this program is really meant to be kind of a menu of options for your store. So if you don't currently work with us, or even if you do work with us, we want to talk to you about some of these options that'll work best for you. Now, before I get too deep into this, it's really easy to look at everything up here on the board and say, I want it all. That's doable. Just may not be what's most important for you. So when we talk about having a menu, there's a lot of things that people value. Different entrepreneurs value different things. Different people will value having free shipping, right? I don't want to pay for shipping. I live in the Amazon Prime free 2-day whatever space, and I'm competing with Amazon. I want free shipping. That's something we can definitely take into account. Other people might say, I really want merchandising. Like, I want you guys to design a store for me. Help me out with what brands sell best, what looks best in my store. Competitive volume pricing, right? Maybe price is your driver. As a company owner, maybe whatever I've said today just can't get past that margin points. Maybe that matters so much to you that you want the bottom line price. If that's the case, we can do that. Everything on here is available for you. I would encourage you to pick and choose which things you value the most in your business, and we can custom design a package for you. Some of the newer stuff that we're starting to get into in this maturing market is like stock rotation. A lot of companies will offer returns on defective products. Stock rotation is more or less just the ability to return older stock that hasn't sold. We're starting to get into that in the repair space. The tough part is, I'll just be honest with everybody in this room, is that when you get into stock rotation and repair, it's really hard for me to stock rotate an iPhone 4S case right now because I have nobody else to sell it to. So keep that in mind. We're reasonable, but at the same point in time, we know that we're dealing with older devices. And I think that you'll find, if you shop on our website again as well, that we do keep in stock a lot of older stuff. And it's primarily because of this channel and our involvement in the channel. Thanks. As far as our fixing profits and loyalty and repair goes, I'm here to the end, but I hope that I've given you a lot of good ideas on how to fix that profit. The loyalty comes down to utilizing that retail space in a good way. We talked about that today. If you have the floor space, if you have the footprint, the wall space, make yourself a destination. Make sure that it's a place that people can come to, not just for a repair, but that they're going to come to in the holiday season to get that next cool fidget spinner, whatever that is, you know? Make sure it's a place where people can come and have a relationship with you. Make sure that they can ask you for help when it comes to setting up their new phone. If you want to get into the service industries, like setting up Amazon Alexa or Siri or anything like that for people in their homes, make your store a destination for that. And so utilizing the retail space is really a good way to do that, and we can help you out with merchandising. So with that, I think we have...
Well, if anybody has any questions, you have time for a couple questions. Oh, let me get over here.
Yeah, I want to open it up. We got 20 minutes or so, and just answer any questions. Accessories is a big, big world out there. So.
Hi, Aaron. I'm Captain Questions. And I'm gonna
Captain Question?
Yeah, that's my nickname.
Perfect.
Because it's what I do at these events. Listen, you showed a really interesting chart of the various accessory brands that you carry. And looking over that list, I noticed that every one of those brands, except one, is sort of functional in its positioning. And you have one fashion brand up there, Kate Spade. So I want to ask your opinion about the potential for fashion branding to enter this space and perhaps change the potential margin structures and perceived value of accessory products. Do you see it happening, or are they just an outlier? Kate Spade.
You're saying, is the accessory space changing?
Why not Dior? Why not Chaps? Why not any number of other brands that people associate with their lifestyles already? Or maybe they're just crowded out by all these other brands. No,
that's a really good question. Yeah, great question. There's many ways I can answer that too. The first one I'll say is the Kate Spade brand up here is actually owned and licensed by Incipio, or they own Incipio owns the license. So the Incipio company, they're a huge partner of ours. They actually also own the Griffin line of products. You see Griffin up there. That's kind of their other case and power line. It's also owned by the Incipio companies. Excuse me. They do a lot with licensing. So they've licensed Kate Spade. They have Rebecca Minkoff. They have a lot of you have seen commercials now for Under Armour at Verizon. That's an Incipio case as well. So they do a lot of branding like that. I think that to your question with Dior and I don't even know what that is. I'm a redneck, dude. If it doesn't say Smith and Wesson on it, I don't know what it is. That would be good. Yeah, 511. Yeah. So if you guys saw that, Griffin just announced the 511 case. If you're into tactical gear, I think it's more. It just comes down to a licensing issue. If what brands are going to carry that. There's a lot of cases out there that you can find direct from China or on Amazon or whatever that'll have Ferrari, BMW. There's a lot of cases that you'll see that aren't necessarily carried by a major brand. Back to my point earlier about merchandising, you want that to drive traffic into your store. One reason why we have all branded partners up here is because we know these companies all spend millions of dollars a year on marketing. Let's utilize that. That's free to us, right? If they're spending, if OtterBox is spending $20 million a year with Peyton Manning on their advertising, I want to utilize that in this space. There's a reason why they're the most recognized brand. There's a reason why LifeProof is in the waterproof space. JBL, they are the owners of Bluetooth audio right now. They're the #1 seller in the nation, JBL. We offer those for a good reason, to make sure that customers come in and they see the brands that they recognize. It doesn't come down to, again, profit points, dollars, margins. It comes down to product turn. You want to measure that turn on the peg. So if you can fit 3 items on a peg, how fast do those 3 items sell on that peg? If you have some cheap, I'll call them, I won't even call them, let's just say that they're knockoffs or they're off brands or they're the brands that you see on Amazon. Chances are they're not going to turn at 3-to-1, 4-to-1 ratio because people don't recognize them. There's no customer service. There's no warranty. You can't ask your friends about case A, B, or C. So, licensing. Yeah, they're getting it. Yeah, so there's also brands like, even OtterBox, Sonics right there. Sonics is a really heavily fashion-forward type of brand. Incipio, I'll use them again as an example. Even though they have Kate Spade, they also have their own design series of cases that are really geared towards that high-end fashion market. And then if they're up here, there it is, Casemate, right up there at the top. If you guys haven't checked out Casemate's line of products lately, do it. They're ridiculous. They're getting really good. And even though they might not have that brand logo, like whatever you said, they are really fancy cases. They have this new case called the Waterfall Series. If you guys get a chance to see one of those here at the show, it's really cool. It basically, glitter in some sort of water, and as you move your phone, it tilts back and forth. But really cool case. So, good question.
Any other questions?
Hopefully we have lots of them. Full room. Just go back there first.
So I'm a newbie in the whole electronics area here. So I noticed you mentioned cases and electronics and like plugs and things like that.
Sure.
But you didn't mention phones. Like, how many people come into a repair shop and you can't repair their phone, or it's too expensive to repair their phone? Is there a source for phones where you can make a profit off of those as well?
Yeah, I'll do a really quick shameless plug here, but we don't do anything in the hardware space. We don't do anything with parts. We're really good at accessories, and we really just want to keep that as our primary focus. But when it comes to hardware, we've partnered with Mobile Defenders, who is a major player in that space, and they offer refurbished phones and parts. So I can't even really speak to your question other than saying that if you want to see them, I know they got a booth downstairs, but Mobile Defenders is one of our partners in that space for parts and hardware. Yep. Yeah, you, sir.
Hi.
Hi.
I was curious when you mentioned Amazon, and I understand your point that there's a lot of private label, no-name brand products, that these are obviously better than in many ways, many respects. But I believe that a lot of these brands also sell on Amazon too, or on other online platforms, correct? So
Yes,
how do you handle that kind of competition? And in the repair space, is that an issue in terms of profitability and the cost that something's being sold online versus what you have to sell it for retail? How do you prevent that from being an issue?
That's a question that is becoming more and more prominent, especially with online retailers, and there's so many of them now. Amazon, obviously, I think being the biggest just based on their free 2-day shipping, I think that changes a lot. For us, when we talk about accessories, most of these brands are sold on Amazon as well. I can also tell you that most of these brands have authorized reseller agreements in place. So you, as a retailer, have to sign one of those saying that you will not sell their products online. Most of them also have teams of people that go online and check and they take down bad listings or listings that are violating that policy. OtterBox is one of the worst, and not because it's a bad product, but because there's so many resellers of it out there that OtterBox has a team of like 12 people that focus on this, and they still can't catch them all. If you go on Amazon right now, you'll find a $25 OtterBox case. So it's really hard to do that. The one thing that I will say, though, is that you want to focus, again, on being that retail experience store. Remember I mentioned earlier for you guys, even when I showed that menu of products, you got to figure out what's most important to you. So is it price? Is that bottom line price most important to you? If it is, then there's not really much I can do for you there. And there's a lot of options, a lot of places for you to get that part or accessory. But people buy with three things. They buy with emotion, they buy with their wallet, and they buy with recommendation. So if they're emotional, if they broke their phone or they dropped it in water and they can't take pictures of their kid's game, they can't take their music with them if they're jogging, whatever it is, that's an emotional attachment to that phone and to that lifestyle device. So that might be more important to them that they get it fixed now. That's why they're in your store. They might need that case now. I think we just try to make sure that you capitalize that sale. And I know it's a conversation that whether you have a sales team or a tech team or not, it's something hard to overcome. But, you know, how bad would it be if I got my phone fixed and I didn't buy a case from you and I walked out in the parking lot and dropped my phone? Right? I don't know how much that happens, but that would suck. That would be really bad. So you use that opportunity then and now. And we, you know, I get it because, like I mentioned earlier, people don't necessarily want to be in your store in the first place. It's an unexpected cost. But as a value-added reseller, I mean, as a partner in that community, you can really become a good friend to them and help them say, you know, I don't want you to come back in here. I don't want you to have to repair this phone again. And honestly, that ends up being better for your business in the long run because they'll recommend you. I heard a customer say once, why would I want to protect their phone? I want them to come back in and break it. And I was like, if you fix their phone and they go break it again a week later, they're not coming back to you, man. That was a bad part or something else. But any other questions? We still got time. Yes, sir.
Processes that you had where you have the stock rotation program. Yes.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit more on that? I understand that obviously it's a product that's not moving. You don't want something that's an iPhone 3,
right?
The very first rock that had an antenna on it. But what is the limitations on that? Because I've been with you guys almost 2 years now, and I love your guys' service. I buy all my stuff from you guys at this point.
Great. Thank you.
And one thing I do like is your board layout. I use that religiously. And the only thing I wasn't sure is the stock rotation. How new is that?
It's fairly new. I mean, we're talking this year.
Okay, so when I launched with you guys, I bought Pure Gear. Mm-hmm. I'm not moving a lot of that. So what would be my option for that stock rotation program in that particular case?
Sure. So we have there's a couple of different aspects to that. This is VoiceComm specific, so I won't speak on the industry as a whole. But when it comes to stock rotation, we follow a couple rules of thumb. One is it has to be current product. So if it's something that you have that's since been discontinued, I can't resell it. I need to be able, if we do a stock rotation, I need to be able to resell it to somebody else. The nice thing is, especially in repair, and when we're talking about older products, we service 3,000 plus doors, so chances are somebody's going to want it. But if it's discontinued in our system, I have no way to take it back, quite honestly. The part itself, correct? Yeah, not the device, but the part itself. Correct. That would just be. Call me. Yeah. So, you can't. I mean, if it's off our website, it's discontinued. So you can type in that part number. Yep. Or the best way is to hit Nicole up for both Jason and I. So Nicole's a great resource for that. She can tell really quickly. Even if it is discontinued, like we have two different discontinued statuses. We have vendor discontinued and VoiceComm discontinued. If it's vendor discontinued, in other words, spec no longer makes that case, then there's absolutely nothing we can do. If it's VoiceComm discontinued, I would say it's a case-by-case basis. But yeah, the beauty of stack rotation is simply to give you guys the opportunity. Let's use JBL as an example. They're really expensive. They're expensive products. The margin percentage points are not that great. The margin dollars are awesome because it's an expensive product. But it's not something that you're going to sell every day like you would a case or a tempered glass in your repair store. So maybe you want a chance to try those out, maybe especially with the holiday season coming up. As long as it doesn't go discontinued, we can take it back and resell it. So it kind of gives you guys some option. There's limitation on time and the amount that you can return. It's not like, hey, just make poor choices and we'll take it all back. Yeah, there's some shared risk there, but yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah, exactly. It's just a credit on your account. Yep. Yeah, but I mean, if that's something you're interested in and you want to get into that, definitely hit us up. Whoever your sales rep is. Oh, okay. Well, let's talk. Let's talk then. Make sure you got a face and a name, either myself or Jason here. So, yeah, we'll talk to you about that.
Any other questions?
What else, guys?
Anything else? All right. Well, thank you so much. Excellent
Yeah, absolutely.
presentation.
Thank you, everybody, for coming.